the fact that it's all nonsense and people like a guy like Ski Mask, is he ever really going to help himself? I mean, he'll go through the motions, but is he really ever going to help himself?
He's
I
a
wrote
smart guy.
I wrote in my high school biography or whatever the fuck it was that I would die before I was 30, so I got a year and a half left.
Little boop guns got 'em, and I'm gonna miss everybody out and rolled them blows. My cage looked at him while he lay. When playing with destiny, played too deep for me to say. The lazy came to me, told me if he should cease with them, please bury me by my grand. And when you can come follow me, working on a plan to heaven, follow the Lord all 24/7 days. God is who we praise, even though the devil's all up in my face, but he keep me safe and in my place. Say grace to the case to race without a chance to face the judge. And a bitch, my soul won't budge. Grudge because there's no mercy for thugs. Ooh, what can I do? It's all about a family and how we roll. Can I get a witness that it unfold? We live in our lives to eternalize soul. And we pray and we pray and we pray and we pray every day, every day, every day, every day. And we pray and we pray and we pray and we pray. Still we lace now follow me, roll, stroll. Whether it's hell or it's heaven, come let's go take a visit to the people that's long gone. That was really easy, terrible. It's steady coming up in the family. Exactly how many days we got lasting? While you laughing, we passing away. Rest y'all souls, cause you know I'ma meet you up at the crossroads. Y'all know y'all forever got love from the Bone Thugs. Little Easy's long gone, really wish you would come home. But when it's time to die, gotta go bye-bye. All the thug could do was cry while they killed my dog. And man, I miss my Uncle Charles, yeah. And he shouldn't be gone in front of his home. What they did to Boo is wrong. Ooh, so wrong. Gotta hold on, gotta stay strong. When the day comes, better believe on. Gotta show that you can lean on. And we pray and we pray and we pray and we pray every day, every day, every day, every day. And we pray and we pray and we pray and we pray. See you at the crossroads, you won't be lonely.
What's going on, everybody? We're joined again by the good doctor here to analyze the fucked up people who patronize the show. We're still in the negotiations with Chad. Chad asked me, he sent me a Venmo, or no, yesterday he sent me a, he said, oh, in case you forgot, here's my Venmo.
We're doing it.
I learned from Stuttering John, never assume anything. So I said, well, how much do you want? He said, whatever you pay Ray. No, he goes, whatever your rate is. I go, my rate's different for different people. He goes, well, you pay Ray. I said, just name your price, because I don't want you to say I underpaid you. So I paid him $68.20 because that's what he requested. And this is what we're dealing with.
I mean, Kevin, you didn't pay me for my last two appearances, so
because you stunk, and
I was good.
I'll pay you for this one.
All right, fine, that's fair.
Yeah, let me see what I paid him. I paid him what he requested, $68.29. Because I'm not a Welcher.
I thought my rate was low.
Wait, did they get Welcher from the Welsh?
It's welfare.
No, it's like I'm not a Welsher. That's somebody who doesn't pay his debts, and I think that's because the Scottish are like legendarily cheap. I mean, I don't know where you get these.
Well, I mean, yeah, they.
Why are you talking? I'm talking to a professional man. Okay. First of all,
we're doing a podcast.
Broccoli, can someone give me a membership so I can stay in chat? Please, someone gift him a membership, Broccoli. I appreciate Broccoli coming in yesterday, kicking everybody out of the chat. He kicked himself out, apparently. He came in at a hundo yesterday to kick everybody out. Vaping Dago, I believe, gifted 20 memberships. Is that right, Adam?
Yep.
So, and those are the ones I wrote down because those are the ones I always feel bad. I forget. But, and then we had a bunch of other super chats and you know, of course, and I can't thank everybody individually because that would be the whole show again. Anyway, we're joined with the doctor. He did a great job with Ray DeVito. Ray DeVito's drinking now again, and he's apparently also, people think he's on some kind of medical substances because he came in super hot yesterday. So I don't know, but we were not here to address that now. Thank you, Broccoli. Ski mask, doctor. One of the I don't know what word I'm looking for, but one of his requirements to do the thing was he had to wear a mask while he was in therapy. Have you ever have you ever had a session with someone wearing a mask?
Yes, I've certainly worked in all types of situations with all types of patients.
Wow. So anybody wear a ski mask?
No, I have not had a balaclava in my office before. So I mean, I guess this is still virtual, so I think that streak holds up. But no.
And that wasn't the request, Kevin. The request was I'm no longer taking my mask off when I do your show.
Oh, for any episode?
For any episode. I don't care anymore. I'm not taking the mask off.
No matter what. Because what? So what is that about?
I don't know. What'd you just pop? It better be a Pepsi.
New sponsor.
We knew it.
Okay. So doctor, you want to address anything off the bat with Ski Mask? You probably familiar with his antics.
Sure. Just a couple of caveats before we start. In general, I think I was mentioning in the last time that we spoke, sociopathies in general, not about a certain person. Would never ascribe or describe or talk about a patient by proxy. I know there were some insinuations that I was referring to a specific person. We were talking about kind of the psychology of a criminal, but that was more of a general conversation.
Right.
So yeah, sorry about that. I think I perpetuated that.
No, it's okay. I just
could.
Yeah. And then, we kind of had the same conversation to start last time. I would never, interview or analyze or talk through any of these issues with someone who doesn't want to have the conversation. Of course, we're public. We're in front of, dozens of people. So I just want to make sure you're okay with us having this conversation, talking about you and your life and some insights, both medically.
100%. You can ask Teamster Tim. He called me this morning at 7:00 and made me promise that I would tell nothing but the truth. And Teamster Tim knows everything about me. So
sure. And it can also be interesting when there are lies and when we have resistances to conversations.
That's what I mean. Like he would know if I was lying. But Teamster Tim knows me like the back of his hand. So
and then Kevin, one other small caveat. If you have any specific medical questions about any other issues going on, I can certainly answer those. And I've heard you guys ask quite a few over the last couple of days. So if you need any medical explanations for issues in your life or other people's life, I can certainly give general answers to those questions.
Okay, while we're on that, I don't know what's going on with Anthony Cumia precisely, but it came up somewhere. Anyway, alcohol is not good for your heart, right?
No, it's not. Alcohol is not good for your heart, and unfortunately, testosterone is also not great for your heart. But the way the alcohol affects your heart is it causes some fibrosis and weakening of the ventricular muscle. And because the muscle gets weaker, it starts to hypertrophy. It tries to make itself bigger in order to become stronger. But instead of getting stronger, it just gets larger and more inefficient. As it gets larger, the conduction, the nerves that activate the ventricle aren't connecting to the right places anymore. So it gets more inefficient in the way that it pumps. And unfortunately, it's not a reversible issue. So the left ventricle, or kind of the powerhouse that pushes blood all around our bodies, becomes less efficient and larger.
And plus, Cumia eats a lot of red meat. Like he's always posting about his steaks. That could also be an issue, right?
Well, certainly atherosclerosis, having a poor diet can add to high cholesterol, but we have statins these days that can lower bad forms of cholesterol. And carnivore diets in general, especially if you go into ketosis, can actually be somewhat beneficial for our cholesterol levels. More interesting though, in general, whenever we use testosterone, it signals to our bone marrow that our metabolism is higher and that we need more ADP or more energy. So our bone marrow creates more red blood cells. It doesn't create any more white blood cells or anything else. It just makes more red blood cells. So our blood ends up thickening because we have a higher red blood cell count. that thicker blood has a harder time getting through our
Yeah, but if
arteries.
he's drinking all the time, it thins the blood, so it's thinning at the same time.
Why
correct?
are you explaining doctor
Because I know
issues to a
exactly what he's.
doctor?
My sister's a doctor. What do you?
A
Don't you know
doctor, like
me?
a real doctor?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so doctor, when they give him a testosterone shot, a doctor would have to do that or no?
I think that to prescribe a testosterone shot, it's through a medical facility. They
But
can.
would they tell him that? Would it tell him what you just told him about? It'll mess up his red blood cell, because he seemed to know that. He was talking about that the day before. Actually,
Absolutely.
when they drew his blood, he said that. I guess he was saying on the show that the T shots will increase his red blood cell.
He also
count.
said he eats 1 meal a day, Kevin. 1 meal a day.
Yeah, so they absolutely would tell him that if you speak to any hematologist in near any large city, a huge portion of their new patients on a regular basis are coming there with a higher red cell count. Their primary care doctor says, investigate what this is, what's going on, and a lot of times it's because they're on testosterone, and then they basically just need blood draws to cut down the amount of red blood cell counts or stopping the testosterone.
So should Joe Rogan be telling everybody to get T shots once they're 50 years old?
Free speech is a wholly different discussion. I mean, I don't. Certainly, Joe Rogan's not a doctor, and I know he knows that he's not a doctor, and he's a very popular podcaster, and he says a lot of things.
No, but he also
doesn't get drunk.
He told Kumia specifically that he should get a T shot because anybody over 50. So could Kumia sue him?
Well, so testosterone shots are very helpful for a lot of things. They can be very impactful in a relationship because of their impact on sex drive. They can be impactful for your health because they increase your metabolism. This is just one of the side effects. Everything has a risk and a benefit when it comes to medication.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now Ski Mask, have you been drinking today?
Not yet. Why?
Okay, because you seem a little goofy, and I just
called me. I was at a job interview at 3:00.
How did it go?
Got the job.
Nice, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
What kind of job generally are you going to be doing?
Let me guess. You're working at a sperm bank. You're the taste tester.
Ooh. This ain't 83, Kevin. No.
I feel like Chad. I feel like Chad and the Quadfather yesterday.
Quadfather killed. I don't know why people are saying he was not good. Quadfather
he was great.
Amazing.
Was that yesterday or the day before?
It was 2 days ago.
Before, yeah.
Anyway, so I want to pair those up, Chad and the Quadfather, like Chico and the Man, something like that. Maybe we'll get an NBC sitcom.
Yeah,
all right, so you haven't been drinking.
Not yet. I got 3 beers in front of me. I was waiting for my fillet of fish to eat first, and then I'm going to start drinking.
Oh yeah, we always like when a person eats at the beginning of the show. That's always a classy. How do you feel about filet o fishes, Doctor? McDonald's in general.
Ambivalent.
I mean, as a doctor, at a young person's age, you can eat as much McDonald's as you want, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think I crossed that threshold right before medical school, and McDonald's is like a once a year thing these days. But yeah, filet of fish, I guess. I mean, I don't think it's healthy. I know people who.
It's definitely not. It's just fast, and I didn't have time to cook because I had to go to a job interview and then this interview. So.
Okay, so what was the job? Do you want to start that with the good news?
I do. No, I professionalized in inventory work, Kevin. I told you that before, and so I'm good with numbers. I do a lot of inventory.
Do you have something on your mask now from the fillet of fish?
Yeah, it's called tartar sauce, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Ski Mask, I guess the one of the benefits of the first interview is Ray has had a lot of conversations on this show where he's talked a lot about his life, longitudinally, almost kind of giving us a timeline. And I was going back to some of the episodes and even kind of checking out your channel and hadn't got as much of a kind of story of how you got to where we are, and was wondering if maybe we could start there, just getting a little bit more context of kind of early life, where you came from. I guess the place to start is, where were you born, and what was the context, what was going on when you came in, kind of joined your family?
So we were living in Pakistan, Karachi, Pakistan. I know Kevin already thinks this is a lie, but you can ask Steve Shatem. And plane landed, rushed to Tyler, Texas hospital. I was born in Tyler, Texas, and then we
Wait, why
moved
were you in
back.
Pakistan?
My dad's in the oil field.
Okay, but so your mom was pregnant with you, and
Correct.
you were on a plane, and then when the plane landed, you went right to the hospital.
Yes, because I wasn't supposed to be born that early. So
Oh, you were premature because of the long flight.
Yeah. Correct.
Can that cause a early pregnancy, a long flight from Pakistan?
But certainly, it can cause stressors, cortisol release. Certainly that could absolutely cause an early contractions.
Could it cause being half deaf?
Especially if you're in coach, right?
So then you flew to Texas. Did you stay there in Texas, or did you go back? Did you return to Pakistan?
We returned to Pakistan, lived there for 7 months. This is my life, of course, 7 months. And then we moved to Warri, Nigeria. And I lived in Nigeria until I was 4 years old. And then from there, we went back to Houston. Lived in Houston until second grade. When the towers dropped, we moved back to East Texas.
So what kind of work was your dad doing with the oil company? Was he management? Was he technician? Was he working on the rigs?
He manages multiple rigs.
Okay. And when you were in Africa, was there like expat, like Americans or Europeans, or kind of like a segregated community that your family lived in, or were you kind of living with everyone?
The home that we had a locked gate around it. We still have the VHS home tapes, and people are trying to get in and shit. It's crazy. It's actually wild. I don't even like watching it, but yes.
So at a young age, you were kind of just inside the house.
Correct.
And how many people were in the family?
At that time, it was me, my sister, my mom, and dad.
And older sister, younger sister?
Older. I'm the middle child. I got a younger brother. He wasn't born yet.
Wow. And did your father ever talk about, or family ever talk about, why you were spending those first 4 years kind of out of the United States in such a tumultuous or, frankly, dangerous seeming environment?
Well, at that time, the oil companies were taking very, very good care of management. So money wise, it made sense. He knew we would be safe there, in the community. So
gotcha. And when you returned to East Texas after 2001, picking up from there, what came next?
My parents got divorced. So my dad met a bartender lady he's still married to, and we stayed in East Texas, and he moved back to Houston.
So it was you, your mom, and your sister,
and my little brother.
And your little brother. So your little brother,
Cabana King.
Gotcha, Cabana King.
Yeah.
He has yet to make his appearance on MLC, so I'm not.
Because Kevin refuses. It's ridiculous.
You don't like my show.
He loves your show.
I think he was on a very, very early episode. Briefly,
he was on the first episode that was on.
And then he almost got on when you guys were building that pool.
Yes, at Vinny Cash's place. I love Vinny Cash. Great dude.
Yeah. So after the divorce, what was life like around the house?
It was fine. I mean, it's hard to remember, really. I was young. My mom was on meth. Because I didn't know it at the time, but I used to wonder why she would vacuum the carpet at 3:00 in the morning. My mom's been on the show. She wouldn't mind if I said that. And then she met my stepdad, who I hated. And then, I don't know. What do you want me to say?
So let me ask, while you're in that house, did you end up kind of getting out of the house, being very social, spending a lot of time with friends, kind of trying to avoid the home?
Well, not avoid the home at all. No, I was just getting outside in general, because it was right before cell phones.
Gotcha. And
my mom absolutely refused to pay for cable so that we would play outside so she could be alone.
Gotcha. So it sounds like quite a lot going on at an early age. I always ask this question of patients when we're talking about this timeline. I didn't ask Ray last time, but do you remember how old you were when you had your first memory?
2. I remember my second birthday.
So interestingly, memories start usually around 4 years old. That's when our hippocampus starts to develop. So if there are any memories that are earlier than 2, it suggests some kind of traumatic experiences. And while the memory itself may not be traumatic, it's an activation of the amygdala, which is our emotional memory center. And that can lead to a much earlier memory, like around the age of 2. I would imagine being in that house surrounded by gates with all those things going on, that some of those experiences may have been quite emotionally impactful.
When I lived in Nigeria, my mom allowed me to play outside without shoes on, and I developed worms. So I had like a horrible case of worms where they like overtook my stomach. I was shitting out worms and stuff, and I almost died. So maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
That's
And the only reason I know that my second birthday memory is because I described the cake like years later, because my mom thought I was bullshitting. I was like, I remember my second birthday, and I described the cake, and she was like, "Oh yeah, that's exactly what we got."
So it's an interesting kind of detail, because trauma that early, can that experience that early can really shape kind of how we see the rest of our lives, expectations that we make. And certainly we can talk about those a little bit earlier, but I really do appreciate you sharing that with me. And that's very common, by the way. The imagery or the memory is wholly disconnected from something negative, and usually visual and usually very detailed.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So tell me about kind of what was high school like?
9th grade, I started smoking some weed. I got thrown. I mean, I was just like a skater punk, basically. I don't know. I was second runner up for what do they call it? Class clown. I lost.
How are your grades?
Kind of like Kevin. I was second up. I'm not like he was on Star Search, but yeah, I lost to a kid named Skylar.
How many stars did you got? Class clown contest?
No, I got second place to a guy.
Did they give you? Did you have to do a set, and they would give you a score like Star Search?
No, the kid who won, we used to pay him in Doritos. We'd buy him packs of Doritos to do cannonballs off the tables.
You went to school. You went to school with Ralphie May.
Yeah,
I went to school with Patrick Mahomes, and we used to.
Patrick Mahomes did cannonballs for Doritos.
No, I went to school with him, but he would laugh at it. He graduated a year below me, White House High School, 2013 graduate. What's up?
Was he on the football team?
No shit. Brittany Matthews was in my math class. Call her. Want me to send her a link?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Yeah, because maybe we get
Send it to Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift and Loretta Swift.
Right. I'm so tired of hearing about that. No, but Brittany Matthews was in my class. Like White House High School. Do you want to see my resume? What's up? Go to my Facebook.
No, I believe you. Was it?
I'm not bragging, because Brittany Matthews looks like a horse. But no, in high school, one of the funny things we used to do was we would throw pennies past the janitor, and if they rolled, he would chase after them. So we would. I guess that's where my gambling career started, because we would make bets on how long he would run after the penny. I know it's fucked up, and I still feel bad about it. But
was there any kind of bullying or like physical violence, behavior, that type of thing in high school?
No, we did. No, not at all. Me and my crew were never fighting. There was one guy. Funny story, actually, but who was he was kind of a bully. But other than that, no, my crew, the best thing we did was group poops. We would schedule our poops, so we'd all line up the stalls and take dumps at the same time.
Okay.
Women do that with their periods, right?
Yes. So there's a lot of socializing and liking to be part of the group.
Yeah, I mean, like when I went to prom, I had cum on my pants, and somebody called me out about it because when they turned on the lights at the end of the prom.
So it seems like you're very comfortable sharing these kind of stories that are somewhat embarrassing.
I promised Teamster Tim I would tell the truth. So
wait, why'd you have cum on your pants?
Because I had sex before prom, not
with
after.
With Cabana King?
No, the lady I went to prom with.
Oh.
So did you know in high school what you wanted to do with your career, your life?
I wanted to go in the oil field. That's exactly what I did.
And how did that process kind of begin? What got you into the oil field?
1 week after high school, I was done partying because I'd partied for 2 years. So I flew to Alaska, worked in a fish processing plant, 16 hours a day for 2 to 3 months while my dad could help me get hooked up with work. I started as an ordinary seaman in October 2013 for a boating business out of New Orleans. And I ultimately became an able seaman unlimited, which I still am. I still hold the license. I can show it to you right now. And we delivered the first liquid natural gas vessel in the United States of America, 300-foot vessel called the Harvey Energy. You can look it up, Harvey Energy. And we signed a 10-year contract with Shell. Now, Shell Oil requires anyone who works for them or any contractors to take a hair follicle. So I knew I was fucked because every time before you go on a boat or a helicopter to go out offshore, you got to take a piss test, you got to take a breathalyzer, all that stuff. Shell Oil calls for the hair follicle. And I was like, I did coke. I was doing coke every time I was off. So I got fired.
So at that time, would you say you were using multiple substances?
Just coke.
Just
it's because it was the only one I knew wouldn't show up in a piss test. Because you're working 28 days. Yeah, Pepsi. 28 days on, 2 weeks off. So you're working 28 days out there, then you get 2 weeks off. So you're 2 weeks off, you're just drinking and partying. Those first 5 days, you're just buying bags of coke. I was making $4.75 a day. Just buying blow. I was living in Galveston. It was amazing.
They paid you in cash?
No.
So it's interesting. So there's this partying. The last 2 years of high school, the partying continues into your career, but you're also very successful at the same time.
What I think the problem was is I made too much money at too young of an age, if that makes sense. Now that I think about it.
How so?
Because going from partying, like I left, I didn't stick around for a while after high school. If that makes sense. I went to Alaska and I came back and worked in the Gulf for 4.5 years. And I was just making stupid money. So the only thing I was just buying coke and whores. So it's like, I should have been saving, but my partying lifestyle never ended. I should have went to college.
When you're young, it's always like, should I be saving or should I be getting coke and whores? It's like
right.
it's not really a fair fight.
So it's very common, whenever we struggle with trauma, we struggle with self-worth and kind of how we define our value intrinsically. Additionally, it's very hard. It's very challenging when we have some challenges with our parents kind of expressing that same love. The idea is that the unconditional love we get from parents is the way that we establish the idea of a superego, or the part of us that monitors us, kind of the part of our mind that observes us, judges us, instructs us. And when you combine a lack of a superego with a trauma, substances become very functional in a way that they numb things out. You don't have to feel anything. And our timelines, our expectations of how far ahead in life we're thinking get shorter and shorter. No one's planning for the age of 65. No one's thinking about much further than the end of the day. How much money do I have to get to payday? How much money do I have to get these drugs or alcohol? When am I going to withdraw or run out? So on and so forth. Would you say that was at that time you were thinking in very short timelines?
No, that's now. At that time, I was like, I have so much money, I'm gonna blow and go. And then it kind of dwindled after I got fired from that job, and I had to get a different job, and the money wasn't the same. So then it became, okay, I got $20. Can I afford an 18-pack or not? Like, how much is it at the gas station or whatever? So I worked multiple jobs since then, but at the time when I was making all the money, it didn't matter. It was just whores and fucking coke. But when I started actually making money, like $20 an hour, not $4.75 a day, life became a little bit more surreal. So then I worked as a building engineer for 3 years.
And what is a building engineer? I'm not familiar.
It's basically you run an entire high rise. It's actually when I started doing my show.
You're like a super.
Yeah, the Plaza Tower, Tyler, Texas. Call them, ask them about me. They'll tell you I'm the best. I was the best.
Yeah, but why'd you quit?
To move to Connecticut.
To chase your dream.
No, I fell in love with a girl and it didn't work out.
Sorry, doctor, when people do a lot of drugs, do they tend to fall in love and with the wrong people? And are they lying to themselves? Not like deliberately lying to themselves, but when you're drunk and high a lot, aren't you deceiving yourself into like feelings that you have for people and etc.?
Well, so one of the truisms of human beings appears to be, at least in my opinion, the things you do most often are the things you're likely to do next. So if we're engaging in behaviors that have very short windows of pleasure, immediate pleasure, very often those expectations kind of spread out to other parts of our lives, and we may be attracted to partners that give us immediate pleasure or immediate happiness, and we're not really thinking about what they'll be like 5 years down the road, 20 years down the road.
Well, I was sober whenever I moved to Connecticut. I was 2 years, no alcohol, no drugs, nothing,
Yeah, but you knew once you got to Connecticut, you were like party like it's 1999.
I didn't.
Right?
I was when I first got to Connecticut in 2020, I was sober for 6 months, and then I had one sip of vodka, and that was it. It was all over.
Tell me about the relationship. How'd you meet her?
So there's this guy named Chuck Mangione. Shout out, Chuck.
Shout out.
OG of the MLC podcast. And I thought that this girl, I won't give her name out, was his wife or whatever. So my friend Teamster Tim called me and said, "No, you should have her on the show." So I had her on one of my Patreon shows.
You thought Chuck Mangione's sister was his wife?
Yeah, at the beginning, it's just
why, because they had the same last name.
Yeah. I didn't know anything.
Yeah, I almost married my sister for the same reason. She had the same last name. I'm like, let's just do it. Makes sense. Jesus Christ. Anyway, go ahead.
So that's what happened. And I had her on the show, and then it just kind of set off from there. But once I got here, I realized, it wasn't. I mean, I didn't realize. She realized it wasn't a match made in heaven. But me and Chucky are still good friends. Everything, just went our separate ways. But I always wanted to move to the East Coast. I love it. You get 4 seasons here. It's not hot as fuck all the time.
And so then that's 2020. Since 2020, what have things been like?
Fine. I got a job. Met a new lady. Moved around. I don't know. I don't really remember much. I've been in the hospital 4 times for pancreatitis.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I can't drink liquor, and I'm only 28 years old. Every time I have a shot of liquor, I go to the hospital. It's ridiculous.
So has a physician ever explained to you why the alcohol causes the pancreatitis?
Not really. I heard that, the enzymes in the pancreas itself get clogged up, but it doesn't do it with beer. It just does it with liquor.
Well, I mean, I can explain a little bit again. It may be educational, or if you,
yeah, I'd love to hear your opinion on the pancreatitis, because I've been in the hospital for it 3 times.
Yeah. So the we all think about the liver as being the main place where alcohol gets processed, but certainly there's other places. The stomach, there's some alcohol dehydrogenase, and kind of some of the mitochondria there can process alcohol as well, or upregulate the enzymes to process alcohol. But one of the places that we process alcohol is in the pancreas. And we're really not, it's kind of like the reserve team, the reserve cleanup team, so to speak. If the normal crew can't get it done, you call in kind of extras to come help out. Because it's not an organ that does it, very readily or very often. It's quite inefficient at it. So that may explain why when you're using more condensed or kind of concentrated forms of alcohol, that your pancreas gets involved, because there's more of it to break down all at once. And what happens in the pancreas is the secretions from the pancreas, when it's processing alcohol into an aldehyde and then into a digestible aldehyde, it becomes it turns these secretions more viscous or thicker, and then those viscous secretions become stuck in these really thin, delicate pancreatic channels, and then they calcify. And then the enzymes that usually get released from the pancreas that are supposed to go through the sphincter of Oddi into our duodenum to process things like protein and food that comes in our stomach, ends up just sitting in the pancreas and breaking down the pancreatic tissue.
So let me ask you this, because I was told that the pancreas itself doesn't have any nerve endings. However, why is pancreatitis more painful than childbirth? I mean, it's the worst pain in the fucking world.
Yeah, so the pancreas is located in an area that has a lot of visceral innervation, or kind of innervation that covers this very large surface that a lot of our organs are hanging and sitting in, and it's tucked right underneath our stomach. So you get a lot of referred pain and nerve activation of pain fibers from all over the inside of your abdomen. And sometimes the pancreatitis can feel like it's under someone's, like in their chest. They can feel it in their back. They could feel it in their stomach, but it's a lot of things signaling at once. It's also a very angry irritation.
Because it doesn't go away.
Yeah,
it feels like an ice pick, like constant.
Yeah, so it also swells to a very large amount.
The only thing he can do is stop drinking, and he won't do that, right?
Yeah, so the liver is an organ that completely regenerates, and the pancreas, just because someone has chronic pancreatitis doesn't guarantee that they are going to not have any improvement. But
mine's still acute though. It's not. So it is reversible until it is chronic, correct?
Yes, but the guidelines or our understanding of when multiple acutes turn into chronic is somewhat vague, and the mortality rates are about 30% higher as we kind of get from acute to chronic, and it can be very severe. And the pancreas, unlike the liver, doesn't do a very good job of regenerating, and that's how people who develop diabetes. That's the idea, is that the pancreas doesn't heal itself.
Doesn't. Yeah, my grandpa died of pancreatic cancer, so I'm in for good luck, I guess.
Well, so actually, interestingly, pancreatic cancer and pancreatitis aren't necessarily linked. Yeah, the acute pancreatitis is a very independent issue, and again, the management is fasting, abstinence from alcohol, and
that's what I didn't eat. So last Tuesday, I had 2 shots of vodka and 1 shot of whatever the fuck they had on I won't say the name of the show, with Chuck Mangione, and then I couldn't get out of bed for 3 days. Instead of going to the hospital that time, I knew I had to fast, so I didn't eat from Tuesday until Saturday morning. You have to fast, and you can't even drink water, and it hurts. Brutal.
So it's very common that even with severe consequences, it is hard to alter and manage substance uses, whether it's a use disorder or even just use in general.
I just like to have fun, man.
I mean, can I end this session? This is ridiculous. I just want to have fun as he's eating a fucking fillet of fish. How many fillet of fishes did you buy, Ralphie May? I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. First of all, we should have an MLC AA meeting where it's like, Ray, hi, my name is Ray DeVito. Hi, I'm Chad Zumach. I just
got a job. Can I celebrate?
Yeah, but it's like you say your pancreas and you can't eat, and all you got to do is not drink, and then you're not going to not drink, and then you don't eat, and then when you do eat, you eat like shit, and then it's like, and then you're like, hey, what about my pancreas? Your pancreas is trying to tell you, stop being such a douche.
I don't think my
this is good cop, bad. We're giving you good cop, bad cop. I can't take it anymore.
No, let's get back to my life. No, I was going to show you. Here's my Merchant Mariner credential.
Okay, so I never knew your mom was on meth. Your mom was on meth. At what age? From what age? Like the whole time?
I didn't ask her what age she was on meth. I just
knew what age were you? What age were you when she was on meth?
4 to 6.
No, not 4. It would have to have been 8.
8 until when? Now?
No, the last time I caught her when I was 16.
And she would smoke it? Like, how would she do it?
Smoke it, yeah.
In the house, or she would go outside?
Smoke in the house. I remember when remember the movie The Ring when it came out? She got so scared we had to go stay in a hotel.
Because she was on meth.
It's also a scary movie.
Yes.
Yeah, to be
Yeah,
fair.
I mean, yeah, but imagine watching it on meth as a single mom.
Yeah, because I remember I used to watch movies when my mom was on meth, and yeah, she would get freaked out too. The Wizard of Oz with the flying monkeys. Moms aren't supposed to do meth.
She was a good mom.
She was not a good mom. She was doing meth.
Hey,
and
look at me. Look at me. I'm fine.
You're
My
wearing a
sister-
mask at therapy on a stream and a live
And
stream.
whose idea was this?
No, I'm saying, where you guys always make excuses for yourself. I'm already sick of it. I'm glad I'm not a therapist. I'd be like, snap out of it, soldier, like Patton. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, listen, you got to stop drinking.
I'm just answering questions.
I know, but I'm saying if you're gonna drink, at least drink fucking light beer or something where you're not like the doctor said, you can't drink this
Light
heavy alcohol.
You're
Your body
drinking
doesn't
heavy
break it
margarita.
down. Your body doesn't break down the stronger the whiskey.
Listen, my
and the vodka.
dad owes me $6,000. Okay, it's crazy. I can drink heavy beer if I want.
What?
What
Who
are
owes you
talking about
$6,000?
My dad owes me $6,000.
What does
So-
that have to do with drinking beer?
Yeah.
I'm saying I can drink heavy beer if I want.
But what is that? What's the $6,000?
Here's the thing. Kevin and I, we get angry at the same shit. So he wants to yell at me. It was your idea, dude, to have me in this therapy session. It's not going to work.
Yeah, because he can help you, but not if you're like.
How is he going to help me? I like the guy. I love the haircut. How it swoops down, very sexy. Love it. Beautiful.
And to be clear, the goal today really isn't about helping or not helping. To be honest, like the goal today is become an expert.
Super chats. The goal is super chat.
All right, so ask them. I've had multiple therapists, so ask the most questions you can.
No, let me ask a question.
Go
Do you
ahead.
do you ever consider yourself like, I'm gonna make my life better and I'm gonna stop drinking and I'm gonna eat better just for like a year and see what happens?
I did for 2.5 years, and I now I live in Connecticut. I was sober for 2.5 years, and now I live here.
And you made terrible decisions.
Yeah, I did.
You followed your heart instead of your whatever. Well, I don't know what makes you drink, but they always say love will conquer all, but not in his case. He moved to Connecticut for a lady, and his life is ruined. He wants to go back to Texas.
Life is great. What are you talking?
Yeah, it seems like you're a happy guy in general.
I'm always happy. I like to make people happy. That's the thing. When you were asking earlier, I made sure nobody in my crew ever fought in high school. It just wasn't something we did. If there was a fight, we'd go watch, see if there's a stabbing or something.
So would you say you're more likely to take care of someone else than to take care of yourself?
100% all the time. I got to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning to go help this lady move her stuff upstairs because she just got thrown out of her house.
But would you wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning to kind of, get to a doctor's appointment or
no? I don't go to the doctor.
So why do you think you're willing to help others so quickly, but struggle with helping or working on yourself?
Isn't it to do with his crackhead mom? He likes to help people that can't help themselves.
I think I get it from my grandmother because she was always, she still is, like, I always wonder how other people are doing. I'll check in on people. Like, even, I get mad when it's been 3 months since I've talked to my stepdad. So I'll call him. I'm like, yo, it's the last time I'm calling you first. I just feel like I'm calling everybody first, Like, maybe I'm the problem. I don't know.
Yeah, very often when we struggle with valuing ourselves, we feel like it's not worth treating ourselves well, but we still seek validation. So we help others to get that feedback of, thank you so much for helping me. You're a great guy.
Yeah, I'd rather do that.
So, doctor, you're saying because he was traumatized as a child, he has low self-esteem?
Well, I mean, it's certainly much more complicated than one issue. But, if you think about the analogy or imagery of a cul-de-sac full of houses, and everybody's got a house, and every morning everyone comes out with a tool belt and a hard hat, and they work on their own houses. Well, if there's one guy that only works on other people's houses and doesn't work on his own, the assumption is he doesn't think his house is worth working on, or maybe it's far past saving. So he might as well go and help other people and get the feedback, the attaboys from them.
God damn. I do need to fix my door, and I just fixed 2 doors this week. That's true. That's true.
Thank you, Broccoli. Could someone give? Yeah, I hope someone gifted him a membership. Psychiatry is a racket for shoolies. Yeah, you hear that a lot, where it's like voodoo and it's nonsense. And
I'm actually Lutheran, so that's different.
no, but he's saying, but also just the fact that not just the shooly aspect, but the fact that it's all nonsense and people like a guy like Ski Mask. Is he ever really going to help himself? I mean, he'll go through the motions, but is he really ever going to help himself?
He's a smart guy.
I wrote in my high school biography or whatever the fuck it was that I would die before I was 30. So I got a year and a half left.
Yeah, a lot of these guys also, Doctor, like, you know, Ray, that's Ray's retirement plan. His parents both died prematurely. And I think Chad has the same strategy where, like, they all think they're going to die at 60, so they don't really plan for the future. And it's not really, it's kind of a weird way to live now because people just factually live longer than they used to.
Yeah, in general, one of the biggest issues that we talk about when it comes to trauma and substance use is lengthening timelines. The shorter timelines are very common in substance use and trauma. And when we talk about things like what's life going to be like when you're 70, even things like working on financial literacy and savings and Roth IRAs, once we expand our horizon in terms of our timelines, people really, really start to find some momentum.
I got negative $5 in my bank account.
Bob Stinks. Thanks, Bob Stinks. Furious F. Hi, Doctor. Ski Mask wear the pink mask to emulate Superman wearing a red cape. And is that considered closeted piazza-like behavior since he's basically a mobile glory hole? Thank you for your service.
That's Teamster Tim's joke. One Furious F.
What, you're a mobile glory hole?
Yeah, yeah, he was the one that came up with that.
And is that true? Why are they coming up with the same
because
reference?
it's a ski mask. Look, it's a mobile glory hole.
I got it. Yeah. All right. Furious. Is that anything to do with? You think it has anything to do with Doctor? He's trying to be Superman.
No, I mean, I think it's a pop culture reference. 2013 balaclavas were very big in terms of cultural influences. 2017 Pussycat Riot. I get it. It's kind of a branding. Pop art
I mean, like I've said it 1,000 times. In 2020, big fan of burning bridges. Obviously, inward collar. But COVID happened, and everybody started doing this StreamYard shit. Everybody and their fucking mother doing a show, so I wanted to do something different for people to click on mine. So when people saw some guy in a pink ski mask, it just kind of became a thing, and that's it.
That's why I watched.
Yeah, I know exactly.
That Pepsi can sounded empty when you put it down. It is. I put it in.
Yeah, why'd you spit? I saw you spit into your mug a minute ago. You don't have your spit rag?
I think it's drinking.
No, I got a spit rag and I got a drinking. Are you guys analyzing me now?
I always analyze you. It's my job. I'm the wrap-up show. What the fuck?
What is it? That so you think I have a prop Pepsi can? Tons more.
Yeah, it's a prop. It's empty, meaning you're pouring the margarita mix.
Oh no! You can tell when I'm pouring the margarita. I'm not ashamed of my drinking. I would drink every fucking show if I could, but I can't be drunk at 4:00 when I'm supervising people. So that's a fact. What if something happens? I got to be like, I'm drunk. It's 4:00. I mean, give me a break.
Hey, Doc,
tons more cowbell. Thank you.
Hey, Doc, I got a question. When I was in the 5th grade, I jumped out of a tree and somebody pushed a 55-gallon barrel in the way, and I split it, and I had 9 stitches on my ball bag. Does that mean I mean, everything works? I could, shoot ropes, but does that mean I might not be able to procreate because I've never worn a condom?
So a traumatic injury would probably require that there was an injury to the actual testicle or the epididymis itself. The issue would likely be underlying kind of where these clonal cells start and migrate up and become gametes and sperm cells. Likely a physical trauma is not going to affect that unless the testicles were swollen and
yeah, no, my bag turned black and it hung down.
Yeah, I would imagine you wouldn't assume that it would cause infertility.
How do you find out?
Too bad your penis didn't turn black too. You could have done porn, right?
Exactly. That's out.
With a black bag and a penis on a white dude.
So there's lots of tests that you can order online for sperm count.
So I got to blow load in a cup.
Yeah, that's how you would collect a sample. Yes.
You act like is that hard to do? You got pancreatitis. I mean,
Yeah, it's difficult.
blowing a load in a cup, it doesn't seem like a big chore for a guy who's practically killing himself.
Blowing a load's a chore in general.
Wait. So you say you don't go to a doctor. How do you, if you say you don't go to a doctor, how do you know you got pancreatitis? You went to the CVS urgent care?
Well, it's
I had a seizure and I woke up in an ambulance.
But you're still dealing with doctors. You act like you're anti-doctor.
Yeah, I didn't choose to go.
Oh, they made you go against your
My
will.
girlfriend didn't know what the fuck to do, so she called the ambulance.
Why are you saying words funny now? Ambulance and procreate. You said procreate wrong too.
Procreate.
Some dude, doctor, what does it mean? He chooses a mask associated with females performing extreme BDSM acts, usually where 10 or more men ejaculating on him.
So actually, the pink balaclava first came out, like I said, 2017 to 2020. It was a big pop culture kind of item. It was in kind of runway shows in Paris and so forth. And then, I think that's really where kind of the branding, pop culture.
His specific hat, his specific ski mask.
Yeah, there's only one brand I wear.
And it became popular.
If you notice, all the other brands of the ladies who were getting ejaculated on, like sucking some big cocks.
I've never seen one porn where ladies wearing a mask.
I've seen there's plenty of them. People post them to me all the time. But you'll see that they're braided around. This one's not. And I won't give the brand name away no more. Oh, look, let me hide the tag.
Okay, so what he's doing is it was like trending for a while. The pink and why was it trending? Why were people wearing pink ski masks?
I think it's the balaclava is originally developed by the Soviets, kind of fighting in these kind of colder environments very early on, and then it transitioned into when we start to get obsessed with Eastern European fashion and so forth. And there's kind of this movement of that in the late 2010s, and it was a pop culture thing from 2017 to 2020.
It is comfortable.
It was like wearing your pants low because guys did it in jail. It makes
or
sense.
like Jinko jeans because skateboarding.
Gustav, don't worry, Doctor. 83 pages already told us Chad is a criminal nut job.
Oh yeah, by the way, Kev, when you wear my shirts on your show and you say someone sent me this, you know it was my shirt.
I don't. I have a lot of well wishers, and I get shirts from other different people. I can't keep them straight. Who sent them all?
Who sent the towel? What'd you do with the Ray towel?
We still use it. It's not beach season anymore. It's hot today, though. Gustav, thank you. Tigger, good doctor. Will your gypsy magic still work on this mortal, even though you can't see his face? Or does your witchcraft only require a window into the soul? That's a pretty good question.
Just need mouth and ears. Certainly, you get to learn more when you see someone's facial expression. And if they're hiding it, maybe they want to hide all of the information that they may be communicating. But yeah, I think it's been going well in terms of you being transparent so far. So the gypsy magic is still at work.
But I think I know ski mask.
Add $100 on my normal rate, I'll take the mask off.
I know ski mask a little bit, so I think he likes to wear the mask because he thinks he can be like a little bit edgier, and then you can't really see him. It's basically it's like it's like when you're playing poker and you don't want people to see your hand. He's doing a little bit of that. It's like when you're drunk or you're not your real self, or like I just think when he wears a mask, he's much more daring because it's like he's like, yeah, you don't even know who I am. Like he feels he's crazy or something. I don't know what I'm trying to get at, but I know it's true.
Bad boy.
Yeah, you're a bad boy.
I think the mask can also be a source of identity, and sometimes when we have a stronger sense of self and self-identity, it helps to add to our self-worth.
Doctor, which is the healthiest of the fake sugars?
Seems like they are all causing cancer these days. Yeah,
even the sweet and low.
They all seem like they're the Trulia or Truvia, whatever it's called.
But don't you gotta take a lot of it?
I think you just, it's almost ironic that you're not, you're using fake sugar to try to be healthier, and then that's the thing that ends up giving you cancer. Yeah, I just say use less regular sugar.
I hate all these health nuts. I mean, what's worse, Sweet and Low or cocaine? You know,
I'd say
It's not
probably
fun.
cocaine.
Cocaine's worse.
Yeah, probably.
What if it's not?
Cocaine's worse. What the hell?
Then Sweet and
only-
Low.
Yeah, it's only bad if it's stepped on.
Right. How do you feel about fentanyl?
And it's a huge issue.
Yeah, but let me ask you the basic question. Why? I was saying this the other day. If fentanyl kills your customer, why do they put it in the drugs? Isn't that bad for your business if you're killing off your customer base by putting fentanyl in the drugs you're selling?
Well, it serves a function of it's substantially cheaper by weight. It's a lot easier to transport because you need a lot less of it to get an effect. And you can get it from multiple sources. You don't have to rely on certain geographic sources to grow the opiate and then to ship it. You can synthesize fentanyl, anywhere, and you can change how you synthesize it, so you can kind of stay ahead of regulatory groups, or some countries even kind of turn a blind eye, and then you can ship it anywhere in the world.
The problem is guys
No,
don't know
but do
how
you
to
have to
cut it.
grow it? Do you have to grow it like
No,
cocaine?
it's synthetic.
No, it's
It's all
lab.
synthetic. So you can make it anywhere.
The problem is some guys don't know how to cut it correctly, so they put too much in, and then they
So
sell
it gets you high like cocaine or crack or whatever. But
No,
if
it's
you put too
terrible.
much of it, or if you make it wrong, it kills you.
It's like an opiate, so it's a down. But interestingly, the way they synthesize it is fentanyl's not just a singular fentanyl. There's usually dozens and maybe even hundreds of different types of fentanyl in each kind of batch of fentanyl, and it's designed by the people who are making money off of it to really prevent someone from coming off of the fentanyl and to be as impactful or valuable as possible. And then unfortunately, when you can't rely on the quality control of local distributors of the fentanyl.
there's no QA department for that.
So wait, so you're saying they want you to get as addicted as possible?
And to have the hardest time coming off of it. It used to be when it was just heroin. It's very easy to transition someone to medications for opiate use disorder. Now with fentanyl and xylazine and a lot of the other adulterants that are in there, it's a lot harder to get someone started on partial agonists like Suboxone. Although methadone is still a great option, it's just not a lot of places available.
Gustav, Ski, just because she wears a nurse's uniform on the pole doesn't mean she is in the medical field. I think he's talking about strippers.
He is.
But you don't have money. You don't go to strip clubs that much, right?
He's talking about my sister.
Wait, your sister is? I thought she was a doctor.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Oh. But what kind of doctor is she?
I haven't talked to her in months.
So you don't know what kind of doctor she is because you haven't spoken to her in months?
We don't talk anymore. I don't know what's
why.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Isn't that weird, doctor? He's tight with his Cabana King brother, but he doesn't talk to his sister, who's a respectable person in the community.
Send Cabana the link.
How old was your sister when your parents separated?
9 ish.
Well, how old is she now?
30.
And where does she live?
Houston.
So she's a physician. The last 6 years, 8 years have been really intense in terms of schooling and so forth.
Yeah. She went to 2 different schools. Shit.
Yeah. So she probably
I didn't go to school. I put on a ski mask to try to do my thing, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about my sister.
Doesn't that mean you're supposed to talk about him if they say they don't want to talk about him?
Well, this isn't that kind of therapy session, but yeah, understood.
Understood that he's hiding something.
No, there's nothing to hide.
It's just a difficult topic.
I'm a little bit upset that she's having a new kid, and I found out from a third party what the new kid's name is.
Is it Jim Stansel?
Yes.
I'm sorry you're going through that. That's really tough.
No, it doesn't matter. Fuck it.
So wait, you're mad that she's not you don't have a better relationship with her, so you're mad at her now?
I'm mad. I don't know why. It just came out of nowhere. She blocked me on all social media. Blocked my phone up. I don't know. So,
but you guys have a weird family, right? Down in Texas.
Family's great.
No, don't you have?
What?
You don't even know what kind of a doctor your sister is. That's something in the Brennan family, but we know.
I just know she puts on the uniform. I don't know what the fuck she does. I know she's got enough money to buy a house and have 2 kids.
Well, all right. Beloved chatter, has Dr. R ever tried Kentucky Fried Chicken? It's motherfucking good. Hacka.
Get
I get
Beloved
it.
chatter.
Sigmund
good.
Freud.
What's worse, Kentucky Fried Chicken or cocaine?
Is this for me or Ski Mask?
That's for anybody. That's for everybody.
Both are
That's it.
good.
I'd say cocaine's still much worse.
Much worse. All
Even
right.
if it's not, if it's fresh cocaine, it's still bad.
Yes.
Okay.
And the problem with cocaine is stuff you don't know who's selling it to you. So there's no FDA.
What I'm saying, if
there's
you
no-
go to Colombia and get 100% fresh made cocaine, it's not bad.
Yeah, but if you
Why do
go
you-
to
why do you think the
Colombia,
80s
why?
was
If you go
popular?
to Colombia, why are you wasting your time with cocaine? How about all those hot
You can get
Colombian
a hooker,
women?
you can get a steak, and you can get a bag of coke for $20.
But the
Yep.
lifestyle you'd have to lead to save up enough money and plan the trip and get down there, you're probably doing a lot of things you wouldn't really find much interest in cocaine and hookers
You know what?
because
You're
you've
right.
got
I
a
did
job
know
you're
a
saving.
guy- I knew a guy who did that, and he's actually dead now.
Also, Ski, have you ever seen what goes into cocaine? Like, it's not just the cocoa leaves; it's like
The gasoline, all that stuff.
gasoline and all kinds of
Yeah,
crazy chemicals. So
You're right.
I think
you're right.
probably if it was just straight cocoa leaves, maybe that wouldn't be as bad, right?
Yeah, I don't want to see how the sausage is made. I
definitely
like
don't.
I like the
Definitely
way I like Coke, and I like the way I prefer not to know how they make it. Furious Doc, despite my name indicating I'm angry, I come here to relax and unwind like Bob did. Is this show a healthy form of therapy? Yeah, I think a lot of people think that it's like, they can't really scream at their job or whatever. So my yelling and screaming is an outlet for them or something.
I don't know, but I listen to this every day after work, and I was even telling Adam right when I came on, I was going to put it on and then realized that we were doing this today. But yeah, this is I really do appreciate the show being here and consistently here at 4:00.
Yeah, but is me
410,
screaming?
410.
Is me screaming? Is people find that relaxing to watch somebody over like hyperventilate or whatever I do, whatever they call I do.
I mean, I think it's an all the characters here have these experiences that they may feel are singular. This is just me. I'm unique. No one else goes through this. But there's 1,000 people watching this. There are people that connect and identify with all these things that are being thrown on this screen, and that's really comforting, especially these days when we're so isolated. To see people so vulnerable, transparent, and showing all their flaws so easily and freely, and being celebrated for it. It's a very encouraging and positive thing.
Hey, doctor, why do you think that Kevin went from doing maybe one show, hopefully 2 a week, to every day now?
I think because Kevin understood what works and what's important to people who listen, and I think the kind of repetition, the behavior repetition of every day at 4:00 I throw this on. There's something to that in terms of people just now reflexively this is what they're doing at 4.
Do you think that Kevin
Also-
cares about the fans?
Yeah.
No, also it's not that complicated. When I was what grade? Anyway, I was about 10, and I had a paper route, and I got $2 a day from my paper route. So it was 5 days a week. I got $10, $2 a day. I'd have to wake up at 7:00, 6:30 in the morning, deliver the papers before school. I was 10 on my bike. I shouldn't have even been allowed to do it. It should be illegal. Well, my parents had so many kids, they didn't give a fuck. So then one day I went up to this golf course near my house, and I shagged the guy. You go to the driving range at St. David's where I caddied. A guy would hit golf balls, maybe 50 golf balls. I'd pick him up so he wouldn't have to do it, and he wouldn't lose them because every time he hit one, I'd be out there picking it up. So it's called shagging. It's nothing gay or anything sexual about it. Anyway, so I would basically get $2 every time I shagged the balls. So I remember I did it like 4 times in one day, and I came home with like $8, and that was a week's worth of money, and for the paper route, and I didn't have to wake up at 6:00. So I said to my mom, who's a fucking idiot, you should fucking analyze her. I go, yeah, I'm not going to do the paper route anymore. She goes, well, that's a sure thing. I'm like, so is this. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Just the fact that I could make that much money, I could make more money, and I made a fortune. I end up being, they call me Super Shag. I shag so much. I actually became Super Shag. My friend Charlie still calls me Shag to this day. When he calls me, he's like Shagger. So, and then I started caddying, and when I was at high school, when I was a senior in high school, I had $10,000 in the bank. And that was like, I don't know what kind of money that would be now, probably like 30 grand, just off of caddying. So it was just simple math to me. I was like, I can make more money. Working at this golf course. And I was right. My mom was like, no, well, this paper route. I was like, fuck that paper route. I'm sick of waking up at 6:30, rolling the papers, nothing to do with weed. You got to roll them up and put them in a bag. So I would throw them from my thing, like in the movies, the old movies, the kid on his bike throwing the fucking newspaper. So I knew my mom was an idiot then. I mean, I probably suspected anyway, but I was like, I'm not doing that fucking paper route. And then I ended up making a fortune. But it's the same with this. It's like, the reason this is good is because, first of all, it's interactive. I mean, even on my Patreon, I used to read the comments on the Patreon shows, and I like the fact that the fans would interact. So, like, once I started doing this, I didn't have to be a fucking brain scientist to be like, okay, this is better for the fans. It's more interactive. I make more money. I can do it every day. I can start the show whenever I want. I don't have to go to a studio. It lined up perfectly for all the things I wanted the show to be anyway. More interactive, more like a Mike and a Mag Dog sports show where people call in. And that's the equivalent of the Super Chat. So it lined up perfectly for everything I always wanted the show to be. So it's nothing to do with like I'm stupid or greedy. It's just a better show. It's more fun for me. It's more fun for the fans. I'm making more money. I'm not getting rich, but I'm making more money, and it's just better for everybody. So the fact that people think there's some kind of like, no, well, Kevin, I would have done it sooner if it was around sooner. But this is basically a new development live stream. Patreon was fine, but Patreon wasn't. This is more fun than doing a Patreon. Just like fucking caddying was more fun, and I made a lot of friends as a caddy. We used to play cards, smoke cigarettes. Paper route, I was out by myself, 6:30 in the morning. It was a fucking thankless job. Then I had to go collect. I had to go collect from grown-ups. I had to knock out their, like in the afternoon, I had to have to go knock on their door and collect for the fight. It's fucking insane. And they would see me coming and not answer the door because they didn't have the money to fucking pay the paper boy. I was like, fuck this. As soon as I got a better opportunity, it's just like I've had girlfriends where I meet somebody else. I was dating this one girl who was a complete fucking lunatic. And then I started dating this other woman, and I just dumped her as quick as possible because I'm like, she was a fucking dumb cunt. And then my next girlfriend was better. So I was like, I'm not an idiot. I know a better opportunity when I see one. And this is better than doing 2 shows a day, 2 shows a week on Patreon. And next question, Ski Mask, you fucking hack.
Like, yeah, you fucking hack. You just compared this to caddying and hanging out with your boys caddying. You want to hang out on here? We're gonna smoke cigarettes together on here?
What?
That's kind of what.
How about me and Jim Stancil? We come down. We take you to what's your favorite? The country club,
What? Kitchen? What are you even talking about? Wait, you think I have a hidden motive for doing the live?
No, not at all. 5 shows a week. I'm saying if you want it to be interactive, why don't you do at least 1 live show a year, like people in person?
One show a year? It doesn't. I don't need to do. I'm doing a show every fucking day. So now I gotta go.
Person.
Why? I did it in Atlantic City. It didn't work. You got to get a room. There's a lot of shit.
Patrick Melton did it in Atlantic City.
What?
Did you do MLC in Atlantic City? I don't know. Maybe I missed it.
No. So I got to do a live show for what? To satisfy you?
Stancil and I come down, or myself.
I don't give a fuck. Listen, I couldn't give 2 fucks about you and Stancil. I'm dealing with like lots of people. I'm not going to accommodate you and Stancil the live show so you can get drunk with me?
No, I'm taking you to Cracker Barrel, man. I was just trying to buy you dinner. I'm sorry.
I don't even know. I don't even know what happened there, Doctor. I'm sorry you had to see that.
That was a great rant.
That was good.
The really good rant. I would say 10 out of 10.
No, it's like insane that people are like, why didn't you do this sooner? Because it didn't present itself sooner. As soon as
Yes,
it
it did. I was doing shows in 2020, and you were still putting out 1 to maybe 2 a week. This
okay,
just
yeah, but they
started a
didn't
year
have
ago.
the super chat and the live stream, and so once it
There
presented
it is.
itself,
You just said it yourself. It's all about the super chats now.
no. Once it presented itself to me, I was like, this is a better show, you fucking idiot. Well, you think this is not a better show when I did Burning Bridges? When I would literally get one caller from the same guy. OVO Cool Guy. You think that was fun to do? We're like, let's go to the phones.
There were some other callers too.
Let's go to the phones, and we get one call from OVO Cool Guy. People are like, that was a great show. It's like, no one listened. No one interacted. I like interaction.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure there was other callers on Burning Bridges.
Okay, well, you're an idiot. Yeah. So you're right. So I had 2 callers, and they're both fucking idiots. And so, but I should have stayed there, right? I made $100 a week.
No, what I'm saying is just take your podcast, just do a show on the road or something. Like
Why
not?
Where should we go?
That's
Like Pottstown?
What, you're making yourself seem like Stern. You're just all pent up.
Good. Yeah, you mean a huge success?
Yeah,
Yes, that's terrible. That would be terrible if that happened. Well, you got pancreatitis and you're eating a fillet of fish and you're telling me what the fuck to do.
I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just suggesting it after your 10-minute rant.
Yeah, you're an idiot. You're an idiot like all these other idiots.
You're my dad. That's why you had my mom on the show. You're clearly my father.
Well, I'm ashamed. If I'm your dad, I'm ashamed of you.
Dude, we look just alike.
What?
Why do you think I wear the mask?
Tommy Seven Names. Ray lost his job at the sperm bank for drinking. I know that was a joke I was trying to get to. That's the joke I was trying to get to with Ski Mask. Party boy. Does the doctor know Ski Mask wants to move to Utah so he doesn't have to see Newports anymore? Love to come around the rim of the mouth on a mask. Yeah, you're a weird dude, Ski Mask. And the thing is,
what makes me weird? You call me weird all the time. You call me weird. You call me hack. Why? And then when I see you in person, you call me a friend.
I've never called you a friend. Did I? Bullshit. When I see you,
I have a clip of you calling me a friend.
Was I drunk?
No, it was on your show that I wasn't.
Okay,
even on.
But doctor, now I forgot I was going to say something about he is different when he takes the mask off. He's much more conserved. He really doesn't. He's not as
lost for words.
He's not as outrageous.
I'm not outrageous. I'm just calling you on your bullshit, Kevin.
What's my bullshit? That I don't want to do a show for you in Stancil? You want me to come to Connecticut? I'll come to Connecticut and have lunch with you. Would that be better?
I was offering to come to you and take you to Cracker Barrel.
There's no Cracker Barrel here, you fucking idiot.
Dude, there's one really close.
Okay, I'm over Cracker Barrel.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll take you to your favorite restaurant.
Yeah. Do you want to move to Utah?
No, I mean, I would love to, actually. Salt Lake City is beautiful. Wow, what a place.
So is Connecticut. Thank you, party boy. NLE.
Connecticut sucks.
You just said you love it there.
No, I said I love Utah.
Didn't he say he loves Connecticut? I said you want to move that back to Texas. You go, I love it here.
I said I love the East Coast.
You said all right. Nobody likes that. All right. Doc, what is your diagnosis of a person who is morbidly obese and unattractive yet feels the need to make fun of how others look, asking for a friend? They might be talking about a certain Patrick now, but I mean, I've seen Patrick in person. He's anyway, yeah, there is something to that, right? If you think people are criticizing you end up starting criticizing others.
Well, a lot of times the things we're saying to ourselves in our own head are just kind of statements that we're used to saying. So it's very likely that we say them out loud to others. Therefore, a lot of criticism is just an echoing of our own self-criticism.
I got a small cock.
But the criticism is you're talking about somebody else. You have a...
Yeah, no, it was supposed to be opposite. Yeah, so it's... Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Johnny Carson, this guy obviously doesn't care about getting help. Fish sandwich all over his face about the drink. wasting people's time. See you tomorrow. Wow, Johnny Carson has given up on you. Ski Mask, given up. Johnny Carson.
I'm sure that super chat came in an hour ago.
Yeah, we're
I'm
behind.
fine. You're not letting the doctor ask questions because you're ranting about obviously, here's what's happening here. You're reminiscing about your caddy days because you've talked about your caddy days the last 4 shows. So now you got some
Last 4
reminiscing going
shows.
on. You must be missing your childhood. So there must be some kind of connection here, Kevin. So
No, the connection is when I'm presented with a better opportunity, I take it, and I don't have to explained. Like if I had pancreatitis, I'd probably stop drinking.
That's not what you said at the poker table.
I'd probably stop drinking, and I wouldn't eat filet of fish. I'd be like, I'd want to get. You said it's like having a baby, like painful, like childbirth. Well, if it happened to me, I'd be like, oh, let me figure out a way to get rid of pancreatitis.
I think what you're talking about is you're describing kind of positive feedback loops and having consistent variables that you're trying to pursue. So the efficiency of how fast you're making the money, and then on top of kind of the income, what you're doing, your experience while you're doing it, and then kind of redoing that self-assessment and watching kind of the evolution of this show from being on a network to being on Patreon to being a couple days a week and now every day. I think it's all because you're kind of doing this assessment of, all right, how much are we doing? How much fun am I having? How good's the product? And those variables aren't changing. And they're also the right variables. It's not how many clicks do I have? How many viewers? How famous am I getting? How many people like me? It's consistent. And I think because of that, it's evolving in the right way.
But in spite of that, hit the like button. Anyway. Robert Dunn, the great Robert Dunn, $49.99. No therapist could deal with Ski Mask. Time's up, Ski Mask. Please leave my office, you pig. Ski Mask is the Ben Gardner of MLC. I'd love it when Hooper was looking for Gardner's boat. The pink Ski Mask suddenly appeared, causing Hooper to drop the shark tooth. Oh, I don't remember that scene where he had Ski Mask, but it's the equivalent where it's like the local idiot went out to do fishing on his own. And but I don't remember Ben Gardner having a ski mask. But I get it. You're right, Robert Dunn. You're right. That ski mask is by like, well, I'm gonna catch that shark on my own. I don't need anybody's help.
Hey Doc, have you ever had to ask somebody to leave your office?
Yes.
Why? If you could tell. Because I want to tell a story about this is why I don't go to therapy anymore.
I was once stabbed by a patient.
Jeez. In the stomach?
Well, I won't get into the specifics because that would go into identifying it. But yeah, I did ask them to leave when that happened.
Wow, it probably felt like pancreatitis. So I was court ordered to see a psychiatrist, right? And she was really hot, smoking. Upper 30s, mom. And then I noticed week after week after week, like she would have my favorite candies, and then she would start buying me T-shirts and all this. And then at the time I was a building engineer at Plaza Tower, she was coming in because we had just opened up a space for a bar. She was coming in drinking, and then started texting me on the side, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared. So don't you think that's weird? Like, would you like as a doctor, would you ever provide your favorite candies for a patient? Buy him her merchandise.
So therapy is very challenging because it's very common.
I mean, she wanted my cock.
The therapist becomes eroticized very, very commonly by patients, and some therapists struggle with the countertransference or how they act in response. Right. Not everybody's good at everything, and sometimes people struggle with the boundaries that they hold in therapy, and that's probably the hardest part of being a therapist is holding good boundaries. And there was probably a moment where that therapist realized that they had crossed far too many boundaries and decided that it was time to, discharge the working relationship.
So what you're saying is she wanted my cock, but she knew.
Shut up! He's a professional man.
Asking the doctor.
First of all, nobody wants your cock. Nobody wants your cock.
I'm not talking to you, Kevin. I'm talking to the doctor.
Sometimes the therapist can stand in or mirror or represent other kind of similar people in our lives, people that we wish we were closer to, people that we had been closer to and lost, aspirations.
That makes sense, right? Yeah. So what? So
it's never even happened. It's like your second your 2-year birthday.
I knew the second I was going to tell this fucking story, you were going to think it's bullshit. Call Smith County.
I saw the same thing in a porno once too. It's basically right out. It's basically right out of The Sopranos with Tony Soprano and whatever her name was.
Yeah, and the reason that they put that in that show is that is actually a very common occurrence.
It happened to me.
But that the patient eroticizes the therapist, and unfortunately, not every therapist is good at holding that boundary and not reflectively eroticizing the patient.
She bought the big Twix too.
Adam, call this episode "Big Twix." I mean, this is I can't even take.
I got quite a list of.
But Big Twix is going to win.
I'll add that to the
Ski Mask is technically an anchor baby. How do you like that, Ski Mask?
Have you ever heard of the yellow fever vaccine?
Yeah, I'm aware of the vaccine. Yes.
Have the doc invoice Cabana King for this waste.
Hey, send Cabana King the link. Seriously, send him a link. It's
No.
timing.
We're
we
not.
We got the doctor on.
We're not. You're an idiot. There's no way I'm sending your brother the link. I'll send your sister the link. I'll send her the link. I want to get to the bottom of that. Not your homosexual tendencies toward your brother. Nick Killian. Has anyone asked the good doctor how and why he's a fan of KB? I know why I am, because I hate my more successful younger brother, and I can relate.
I can relate to that.
Good stuff, Nick Killian.
Would you like me to respond?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think the most interesting thing in the world is any other human being, and that's probably why I'm a psychiatrist. And you are a very interesting person, and you've been very transparent. Most people that that are comedians or kind of in entertainment, there's a bit of a facade that they put up. Like when you're doing stand up versus when you're having a conversation with someone at the bar. And you've been putting the conversations at the bar you've been having online for years. So as someone who's just interested in other human beings, it's an interesting person to listen to, and your interactions with other people it's fairly atypical, not something that you hear day to day. Although it's certainly the work that I do, I hear quite a bit of it. But I really just enjoy the show and the interactions, and also you're really funny and you're very quick, and the humor is it's really there. It's not manufactured. It's natural. It's obviously reflexive. So you've been doing this for a really long time. And that's obvious.
Clip it, Carl. Clip it, Carl. Who are these podcasts? I want this on the next Who Are These Podcasts? Thank you, Doctor. Borgo, how many oil spills were caused by a drugged up ski mask? Yeah, that's a good question.
You said you were sober when you got on the boat.
Where'd he go? he just dropped off. Oh shit!
Let him go. He's an idiot.
Wait, what?
He probably took himself off
because of the question.
Yeah, no, he's mentally ill.
He dropped off a couple of times when we had him on last time too. I think he's
no. I think he really wants to get off.
No, he's coming.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Sorry,
I thought Borgo was tripped him up with that one.
You all right over there?
Ski mask.
I'm texting my girlfriend, tell her to turn her Wi-Fi off.
Oh, the connection.
Yeah, correct. What's up? What's going on?
How you want to? You don't have to answer this, right? Borgo wants to know how many oil spills were caused by a drugged up ski mask.
Oh no! Actually, the motto of our company was not one drop spilled.
That was not your motto.
So look
up Harvey Gulf International Marine, not one drop spilled.
But that's not even true. You've spilled a drop.
He's talking about when I was working in the oil field.
So you never spilled a drop of oil?
No, if you spill a drop of oil, you get fired.
Doc looks like Adam.
Gas. You know what that is?
Doc looks like Adam having explosive decompression.
That's very rude.
Borgo, let's get into the hard stuff. Ski Mask, why are you in love with Gino Moscate? Are you sad about his engagement news? Yeah, Gino does have a thing over you, right? Is he? Does he get into your head?
No. It's very interesting how obsessed he is with me. And now that he's doing a show, like I bought tickets, right, to go. He's doing a show right across the street from where I live in East Haven, next Friday, I think it is.
Where? What club?
It's not a club. That's the point. It's like you can
Somebody's
look it up.
House?
It is a house, but it's like a theater house or some shit.
Hmm.
So after he told me I was banned from the studio forever for life after last Tuesday's appearance when I took over the show, classic bomb. I went and sold my tickets back, and he got all butthurt about it.
Right, because that was the only tickets he sold was the ones you bought.
Probably. And then he goes, "Oh, I called the club owner." I was like, "I'm with the club owner. He's 3 blocks away."
Thank you, Borgo Furious. Ray's heart just skipped a little. Ski and the group. Oh, Ski and the group. Ski.
With him and his high school buddies were doing the group poop.
Oh, yeah, the group poop. We call it GP.
Oh,
Yo, it's
oh,
GP.
all right.
1:30 p.m. Group poop.
Yeah, we might have figured that out why yesterday not really me, Carlos Danger was like, that's why Ray likes to take showers at the Planet Fitness because there's people shitting nearby.
Could be.
I mean it made sense to us, but we didn't go to school. Rapey Ray, liquor is clogging his liver, so what the fuck is clogging his jaw, Doc?
In terms of his jawline, I'm not sure if there's anything kind of
I think they
pathologic.
think he's got lockjaw from so many people.
Yeah, I suck a lot of cock.
Name the episode group shit. Yeah, that might work too. But
Yeah,
I like to keep it
It's
clean.
group poop.
I like to keep it clean with the big Twix. What was it, Adam?
Yeah, big Twix.
Big Twix. Rapey Ray, listen up. The guy who thought you can't be arrested for a DUI if you just take the key out of the ignition has advice on pancreatitis.
If the key's not in the ignition, you can't get arrested for DUI.
I'm certain that's not true.
I promise it's true. Look it up. Texas law. I know.
It may be a shitty Texas law from 20 years ago, but if you
look it up, I know. I went through the course
shut
system.
the fuck up. If you drink and drive and then you pull over and the cop pulls you over and you pull over before the cop pulls you over and he sees you and you're like, oh look, it's not in the ignition. You can't arrest me.
Not what I'm
You're
talking about.
child.
What I'm talking about is if you pull over and a cop
Cool.
just happens to see you. That's what Chad said happened. Remember? And the key was in the ignition. If you're just chilling in a parking lot, sleeping with the key out of the ignition, you can be as hammered as you want.
Okay, you don't know it. You're not a lawyer. You're not a doctor.
I
you're
have
not
a
cop.
DWI. I have a warrant in Smith County, Texas. I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I'm sure you do.
I was a
St.
.39
Ray, that's the only,
BAC.
that's the only thing I believe is that you have a warrant for Smith
Hey,
County.
Doc, what do you think about a .39 BAC?
Yeah, obviously, to have some of the things we've discussed already in terms of pancreatitis and so forth, there's a lot of alcohol consumption that has to happen, and our bodies, end up being able to process alcohol faster, so we don't get as intoxicated with the same amount of alcohol, and that can be kind of upscaled or downscaled by our mitochondria. So, I mean, sounds like you're using a lot of alcohol.
I was at the time. That was in 2018.
Same Ranger, snap out of it, soldier, says KB and General Patton. Yeah, that was the first scene in a movie of a guy being woke. He was crying because of and George C. Scott just fucking smacked him with his fucking gloves on his helmet, and I think he got in trouble for that. But yeah, that's everyone's being babied now, and so I won't do it. I won't stand for it. But it's like at some point you got to go, this is bad for me. I got to stop doing it. Right, Bobby? I'm hearing all kinds of stuff about Bobby, Rob Saul, getting Bobby drugs. Bobby's like, weak people do drugs. You're weak, Bobby. Jimmy I, would the kind doctor consider having Brian McCarthy? Wow. On to diagnose. Minus the bad puns. 22 episodes left. Adam, can you make that? Oh my God, Brian McCarthy.
He would do it. I mean, he already sees therapists regularly, so I don't know how that would work.
His theory was because I used to, when I used to go to therapy, I would say, Brian McCarthy was always bragging how much he paid for his therapy. And he goes, well, if you get someone for $100 a session, obviously they're not good. I'm like, what? I go, first of all, therapy is mostly about just therapists pointing out how you're fucking your own life up or helping you figure that out. So you don't, the more you pay, but Brian had all kinds of like delusional fucking theories about therapy and therapists. And also he's legally blind. and he had a severe drinking problem, and he should definitely.
He was just drinking like 3 glasses of rosé, but Cabana King just texted me and said he was looking for a whore, and he found one that said "Super Soaker Throat Goat."
What?
That was the ad reading. Super Soaker Throat Goat.
See, so you read that on a show with a professional therapist, but you won't talk to your sister who's a doctor. So you're living in.
I'm blocked. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, but you could go down there. You're living in some kind of clown world.
Oh, let me just book a flight with negative $10 because you didn't pay me for the last 2 shows.
So what's challenging about treating alcohol use disorder and trauma in general is there's these kind of two big parts of our brain that seem to be kind of grappling for control. The basal ganglia, we've got the amygdala, the hippocampus, thalamus. It's right near our brainstem or right near our spinal cord. It's a part of our brain we share with animals, even as small as an ant. And the part of our brain that's human, the prefrontal orbital cortex, is where we have intelligence, processing, cognitive thought, deliberate decision making, but it's further away from our spinal cord. It's a slower set of signals. And Ski Mask, one of the things it's very obvious is you're a really smart guy, you're a really thoughtful guy, you care about other people, but it's when these fast thoughts and fast impulsive behaviors start that it's a repetition back into this all or nothing risk taking, devaluation, and engaging in behaviors we know are harmful, but the decision happens fast, the decision happens quickly, and we don't consider the repercussions. But there is a part of your brain that knows all of the negative outcomes that are going to come. It's just not in charge when you're making the decisions.
Adam, what hour are we at in the show?
We're at 90 minutes right now.
90 minutes.
What kind of a question is that? You don't have a watch?
No, because what the doctor just said blew my fucking mind. He did the same thing to me he did to Ray. He's completely right.
Yeah, and the issue is that part of your brain that's the animal part of your brain that's functioning to promote survival. And I believe that we are the average of our DNA over the entirety of our evolution. So we're better suited for the average of that DNA, which is closer to like 10,000 BC than it is right now. And look, you've got a roof over your head, you've got food in front of you. Technically, you're surviving and you're thriving. The average, the age, people are surviving only to like 34 years old. And like 1865, that was the mortality age. You're doing well historically speaking, so your brain doesn't want you to change anything.
So what you're saying is before I eat ass, I should think twice.
What I'm saying is the two challenges you have are slowing down the fast thoughts that are coming and the fast decisions, and then replacing them through repetition. Our animal brain only changes through behavioral repetition, like training an animal.
Like a dog, right? Like a young dog.
Like Pavlov's dog, where they rang a bell and got it to salivate. The same thing. It's the thing you do most often is the thing you're likely to do next. So it's going to take some time and repetition. And actually, behavioral therapists have figured out it's about a 200-day span to create a behavior into a habit. So if you want to do something like ride a bike or change your diet or walk a certain way to work, if you're doing that over the span of 200 days on a regular basis, the likelihood is you're going to start doing it tomorrow.
This Ski Mask guy seems more well-adjusted than Ray. I couldn't disagree more. I mean, I think Ray is like Gandhi compared to fucking Ski Mask. Cardi Boy, I heard oil rigs are hotbeds for gay activity. Is there any chance Ski Mask is harboring trauma from getting passed around by real roughnecks?
Real roughnecks. Never worked on an oil rig, Bubba.
I think what's interesting about Ski Mask is bimodal. He has these kind of the part of him that's impulsive and animalistic. Ski Mask is very kind of aggressively self-destructive, but the part of you that is kind of cognitive, the human side of you is very well-adjusted, intelligent, can process things. And
where the fuck did you find this guy, Kevin?
Was you gonna start crying?
No, he's reading my mind. He knows. He's breaking me down.
A pink mask and a black handbag.
Damn.
A pink mask and a black handbag. Go ahead, caller. EGN. Corn dip, new member. I don't know if that's fake corn dip. I thought all the vegetables hated me, including Bill Schultz.
It's fake because it's all caps.
What? Oh yeah, Ski Mask has the ability to know from text and super chats
You just heard the doctor. He said I'm a smart guy, Kev.
who people are. He knew Kumia was sending a super chat based on his punctuation.
I remember that. That was impressive.
I can do the same with Mike Brachetti's punctuation. I know when it's Mike Brachetti and when it's not. Flavorino. Doctor, I'm getting a lot of oppositional defiant disorder out of the patient. Why has he plaster casted his caulk and to sell copies online?
So actually, I would say I thought about this in preparation for today, and really, Ski Mask, you don't really meet the criteria for oppositional defiant. Certainly there's issues with temper, somewhat, some resentment, maybe angry, maybe. But you're certainly not one to blame others all the time for your mistakes, not in a pathological way.
I always blame myself.
Yeah, you really don't meet much criteria.
What is oppositional defiant disorder? What the fuck does that even mean?
It's a personality disorder used to describe a certain subset of patients that struggle with reactive behavior towards order or control.
How did Flavorino know about it? Is it pretty common?
No, but it's like saying someone's narcissistic. Narcissistic personality disorder. It's one of the personality disorders.
So you're saying to plaster cast his cock and sell it online? That's not that weird.
It's makeaweenie.com. It's on Adam and Eve. You order the kit. Kev, would you do it with us?
No.
So what's interesting is that's a bit of a microcosm of what I'm talking about. One has to be fairly thoughtful to figure out the margins, how to get that actually done, how to produce it, and so forth. But it's also somewhat of a impulsive and self-destructive pursuit. Selling something so personal and
it's intimate. Just a penis. I mean, it's hilarious.
Rapey Ray, Doc, any chance you can prescribe Ray, Chad, and Ski a Kate Quigley party?
No, so I was on Joey C's show last night, and he accused me
name dropper.
Yeah, fuck him. I clowned him for 2.5 hours.
I'm sure
but he accused me of having people run my website. So is that something that aligns with that? Because I just sell T-shirts with cocks on them and gym bags and.
What are you talking about? I'm talking about the Rapey.
I'm talking to the doctor because what he just mentioned.
David Skywalker, hey Doc, do you know why Pat Dixon is mad at you? He does this with everybody.
Because he's out of cigarettes.
KB looks at Ski the way Borg.
I mean, KB could be my dad. I mean, we share a lot of the same traits.
KB looks at Ski the same way Borga looks at his loser son.
Yeah, did you tell my mom to name me after you?
Oh yeah, we have the same first name, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, it's not. I think you have something to do with it because we both have red faces, the skin.
That's true. That's true.
The blue. We both have the blue eyes. Look.
Yeah. Yeah, when I first saw you without the mask, I thought I was like, this guy's related to me.
You had my mom. You had my mom on your show,
and then you threw up on my shoe. Jack Klumpus, Ski wants to be KB's Gino. Ski wants to be KB's Gino. I'm not sure. Oh, as opposed to Kumia, like Kumia and Gino. MMC1, KB trying to take down his podcast competition, Joe Rogan, by tattling to the doctor about AC's roids. Yeah, I just think that Joe Rogan should probably shut his fucking mouth about what every dude over 50.
You're just mad because Neil was on his show.
I'm not. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, Joe Rogan should shut his fucking mouth.
And he didn't even spell Rogan right.
He's not a doctor. Yeah, but I knew what he meant. I knew what he meant. MMC1. Ronnie Loves almost say, hey Doc, my psychiatrist told me I was crazy. I said I want a second opinion. He said, okay, you're ugly too. Repulsive is too hard to say, so I had to shorten it. That's what comics do. They try to make the words shorter so you get to the punchline quicker.
And more.
Ronnie Loves MLC. Huh? What doctor?
Oh, I remember Patrice O'Neill talking about choosing words that have harder consonants and less kind of soft.
Yeah, absolutely. The K sound, cock, anything with a K sound at the end. That's why, like, literally, if you're a comic and you're just in a jam, you can just say cock, like you got Tourette's, and people start laughing. Just from the word, the shock of the word, even though it's not really a shock anymore, and just a hard K sound. Robert Dunn, end of the therapy session. Ski mask is walking towards the door. The therapist takes aim and says, smile.
It's a bit of a walk.
It says, smile, you son of a reckless meth head mother with no regard for child.
Be fine. Hey, I gotta take a piss. I'll be right back.
Good. Yeah, I wonder why, because you're a fucking alcoholic. Anyway.
So are you. I mean, clearly you're drinking out of that glass.
I'm not drinking, man. You think I'm going to get drunk?
I know you're drinking.
Well, that's what drunk people always say. That's what drunk people that are drunk and high, they always think everybody else is drunk and high. So I don't know what it's called. So they don't feel guilty about them being drunk. They're like, you're drunk. I'm not drunk.
Doc, do you think he's drinking?
No.
You don't?
I got a can of cola, Coca-Cola.
Oh, wow. Where'd the cola come from? They're both empty. You just set it down. It's empty.
Yeah, they're in a cup. I poured them in a cup.
Let's see the cup.
Stupid? You're gonna think I'm gonna drink out of the thing? Coca-Cola would shut me down.
Oh, it's so the cans don't go on screen.
No, not only that. I would rather drink out of a cup. Plus, when you drink out of a thing, it'll make a noise. Like we had a guest on last week, and he was drinking out of a straw. Butch Bradley kept drinking out of a straw.
It sounds like an avalanche.
No, you couldn't hear anything. You had to turn down your volume. You're like, I'm like, how do you not know making a sucking sound into your microphone is not a good thing. I just want to reread this. Ski mask is walking to the door. The therapist takes aim and says, smile, you son of a reckless man. Yes. Yeah, his mom. Listen, I know you can't get into personal stuff, but his we had her on the show. I don't even know what his family stuff is, but it was always very confusing for me, like his mom and his brother and Philly Franks. Dr. Ski thought Philly couldn't get a crane for a year to fix a section of I-95, but the entire job was done in 11 days. Out of touch with reality. Prognosis bleak. Eagles 4-0. Phillies 1. Yep. Look, I was just thinking that last night. Like Philadelphia's become like Title Town, USA. The way things are going. Yeah, he is. That's a good point that Philly Franks made. I don't know if you remember that show and when that bridge collapsed, he said it'll take months to get a crane. I'm like, cities don't wait months. That's I-95. Like they absolutely need it up and running. So what they did is they just instead of building it, they just put blocks underneath it like a kid would do to support the bridge, and it fucking worked. So he's saying it would take, because he's like, I'm in the construction business. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm in the reality business. So if a city needs a road fixed, they'll do whatever it takes to get it done. He goes, no, it'll take months. I was like, wow, you're dumber than anybody. So I apologize for him because he's an idiot. I forgot how stupid he was until he showed up today and with this super chat. Thanks, Philly Frank 5. Bate, let the doctor go. You have wasted his and our time. I know, that's how I feel. I mean, I feel like Jesus. But Ski Mask said he had a breakthrough. That's why I thought Ski Mask, when he said, what time is it, Adam? I thought he thought his time is up, right? Because he only agreed to this much time. But instead, he was like, no, we just had a breakthrough.
No, he hit the nail on the head. It fucking amazed me. It was like
I'd like to hit you with something on the head, maybe a
shovel.
shovel.
I bet you would. No wonder you don't do shows in person, Kevin. Once you, what did we ask the doctor some questions? Hey, Doc, after watching The Sopranos, right? Do you see a guy yourself?
Oh, do I see a therapist?
Yes.
So I'm currently located in a bit of not that kind of remote area, but there's not a whole lot of psychiatrists here. That's part of why I'm here. When I was in kind of bigger cities, I did, and I'll check in with some mentors from time to time, but I don't see a therapist on a regular basis now.
But before you get your license or whatever, you have to see a therapist, right?
Yeah, especially if you're doing something like analysis training. You have to go through analysis to become an analyst. And you see a therapist and another psychiatrist through all of residency and fellowship, and it's encouraged and certainly really helps in terms of your own practice of therapy.
Did they just analyze your brain?
Yeah, and I also did something called neuropsychological testing, where it's a 3-day test where they tell you all about all your personalities, possible diagnoses, how you learn, your IQ, all that stuff. It's like an 80-page printout. I did that right in the beginning of when I started practicing.
You said testicle testing? Is that what you said?
Yes. No, that's not what I said.
What are you?
Have you ever?
7?
Are you 8? You're looking at your phone on a podcast. Have you ever heard of this? Hold on, one sec.
I'm looking at my phone. Yeah, because I get texts and information from. Shout out to Stuttering John. It's his birthday today. He wants me to go on his show, but I don't think I'm gonna because I can't get dragged into it. I just can't get dragged into it. But Adam, send him the link. I don't know if he's watching, but we could have him on for a couple of minutes if he's watching. We could send him we could say happy birthday.
Have you ever heard of the?
I don't want to go on his show because he's doing a political show. I guess the political show on Wednesday, and politics aren't funny, right, Doctor? You can agree with that. Politics are generally not funny. Like you wouldn't watch a political podcast and expect to laugh, right? You would just watch it because you're obsessed with politics and you want to hear people talk about it.
Yeah, I don't talk about politics with people. I don't really share any of my politics. I always consider them kind of a personal thing that I vote every once in a while, and that's it.
Yeah, because it just leads to arguments. It's really ridiculous. So,
hey Doc, how accurate are the DISC reports? The DISC reports. Have you ever heard of that?
I'm not familiar with those.
It's a dust of a DISC. All right, Dave Yoho. Whatever. Anywho,
we're gonna probably end this.
No, it was a psychological.
No, dude, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like, what are you smoking? Are you smoking meth? Like, what's in that pipe you're smoking? Like, you're acting real weird.
What do you mean? Why am I acting weird?
What are you vaping?
You're vaping every time that I'm good on your show.
Adam, do you think he's acting weird?
It's hard to say.
I was asking. I took a psychological report for this job that I just got, and I just got the standings, and I want to know if you ever heard of it. It's called a DISC, DISC.
No, I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about like overall. You're acting real weird, considering that he's trying to help you out. It's
you're not letting the man talk.
Well, you talk for an hour. You talk for an hour. I didn't read super chats for like an hour so he could get to it, and you're like, well, I don't talk to my sister, but I don't want to talk about that. Like that's the shit we talk about. We should talk about your sister that you don't, and you want to have sex with your brother, and you have no relation with your sister.
No, I don't.
Who's a professional person? It's fucking ridiculous, and everybody knows. Everybody watching the show knows you're not going to heed any advice. You're going to go back to smoking, vaping, and fucking getting drunk, and be like, no, I can't get a break. I got pancreatitis. Yeah, because you're a fucking mess. Well,
Ski Mask, can I just a quick hypothesis? Is it when we kind of were talking about those two minds and kind of that kind of understanding of how you're, at least my theory of how you kind of think and how you're kind of going through your day to day, was there a feeling of discomfort? Like, I don't want to feel like
whenever you were talking about it.
Yeah,
at 100% because I knew you were right.
Yeah, so possibly the behaviors kind of since then are kind of a reaction to that discomfort that to try to get away from.
I've lost the Ski Mask host.
Right.
I'm trying to get back into being the Ski Mask host.
Right. So I think it's interesting, and I wonder if that's something that happens frequently where there's a vulnerability or connection of you kind of being yourself, and that either it feels like it's uncomfortable or it feels like it's not right, and then behaviors start to mount in an attempt to distract yourself or kind of put up a different facade or just not think about it.
Well, I never put on a facade, but let me ask you this.
Well, the mask.
What is it about not feeling comfortable all the time? Like I've been waking up a lot like that lately. Like where I don't want to not necessarily I want to do things, but I don't want to face reality.
So a lot of times at the beginning of the day, we struggle if we have anxiety, if we expect the worst to happen. It's hard for us to get excited about a day. A lot of anxiety is worse in the morning. A lot of our cortisol, we have cortisol secretion, which is a hormone that gets secreted from about 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. And it helps kind of get us started for the day. It's kind of natural coffee, so to speak. But it also means that we're more likely to have high anxiety in the morning. It also can be a symptom of poor sleep. If we're not getting at least 3 REM cycles and really 4 REM cycles a night, we're going to
that
have more
sucks.
cortisol. Yeah. So bad sleep can lead to early morning higher anxiety. And then psychologically, if good things have not been happening recently in our life, we're kind of expecting bad things to happen. It's hard to anticipate a good day and get motivated to go out there.
I mean, I got a new job 20 minutes before the show started. I'm not even excited about it, but it's good pay, it's good hours, and I get to ride my bike to it. I don't even have to drive. But
if you
I don't even feel excited.
Because what's your first thought about what's going to happen with this job?
I hate Connecticut.
Yeah. And how do you think, when you think about the job, do you think you're going to be there for a while?
No, I know I'm not.
Yeah. So it's hard to get excited about something like that.
So doctor, when I mean, I'm not brushing brushing off what just happened, but my own curiosity. So in the morning, there you have a natural thing in your body, basically. So it creates like whatever you called it, that so to get you motivated to get going. But on the other hand, if there's too much of it, it can cripple you because you're like, I have too much to do, so you end up doing nothing, or you just anxiety about how it's going to go, and you end up just doing nothing.
Yeah, so the cortisol is like it burns anything in your body, fat, muscle, bone, whatever, to make glucose to kind of start giving you energy for the morning. It also raises your heart rate and raises your blood pressure. But if you're already having anxiety, that exacerbates an underlying anxiety. If you get at least four cycles of REM sleep, you start to release what's called growth hormone, which only uses fat to make glucose in the morning, and it decreases some of the cortisol release. So one of the best ways to manage anxiety, especially early in the morning, is having a good sleep hygiene.
Yeah.
And how long is a REM cycle?
So everybody's different, and longer into the night, your REM kind of phase gets longer, and it starts at about 5 to 15 minutes, and your last cycle for REM itself is about 45 minutes. But each one kind of roughly is about an hour and a half to hour and 15 minutes. So you want to be sleeping 7-9 hours a night. Cell phones and the watches and things have gotten really good at doing sleep monitoring for your movement. And whenever you're completely still at night, that's a REM cycle. So if you have an iPhone or an Apple Watch or something like that, you can actually download a lot of free apps that'll tell you how many REM cycles you have in a night. And you want to try to get at least 4 in.
Yeah, but shouldn't you turn off the blue light on all your screens when you're trying to sleep? Because even if you are sleeping, the blue light on the screen fucks with you.
So we usually encourage for sleep hygiene that you turn off all screens at least an hour before sleep, and read a book, something along those lines, and only go into bed once you're tired. But there's a whole list of things for we call it CBTI or CBT for insomnia that we use specifically to kind of work through poor sleep.
D. Frere, Ski Mask agreed to appear on the BS show. Shuli Hack, is that true? Ski Mask?
I don't know. I haven't heard from. Hold on, my sister's actually calling me right now.
Pick up.
All right. Hey Jess, I'm live on Kevin Brennan's Misery Loves Company. What's up? I'm doing a therapy session.
Hey, I was just calling to see how you're doing.
Were you watching the show?
No.
Yes, you were.
I'm just leaving work.
I'm on the air with a therapist, and he was asking me about my family and stuff, and I mentioned the fact that I haven't talked to you in months. So
and how did that make you feel?
Sorry, life has been so freaking busy, dude.
So Cabana obviously contacted you to call me because there's no way this is a coincidence.
No, I haven't talked to Travis either in days.
Bullshit.
I swear, I'll send you a screenshot of my phone right now.
Where you at? Are you driving?
Yeah, I'm heading home. I'm about to get on fucking 45.
Good. You're live on MLC. There's over 1,000 people watching. I'm doing it. Yeah. I was just talking about how upset I was. I haven't talked to you in months, and I had to learn the new name of your boy who's supposed to be born on my birthday, his name to a third party.
Yeah, well, he has your middle name, so I mean, I love you that much at least.
I know. All right, I miss you. I'll call you after the show. I mean, if you want the link, we can send you the link.
No, not today. Not today. Well, we'll have her on though.
Kevin said no, but he'll have you on.
No, and
anytime.
we'll have her on whenever she wants, but not today. It's too much. It'd be
All right,
too
I love you.
much.
I'll call you up to the show. All right.
But she's gonna get to a wreck.
Yeah, we're not licensed for
Don't,
family
Kevin,
therapy.
stop! Don't fucking say that. Look, I'm not. I'm
Hey,
not full.
hey,
I'm not full
Hey,
of
Ski
kids.
Mask. Ski,
Yes.
that was awesome.
That was weird, dude. What the fuck?
If she didn't hear from Cabana King, that is weird.
Well, here's a great example of our expectations.
No, you think there's something to do with the universe provides?
I think it's just random luck. A good thing just happened, and there's nothing else to it.
I think it's more than that because one time, my first thing, Lenny, my first lover, Lenny, we did a show. Lenny had a drink because we had a bet. I said Bill Burr would never return your call, and he called Bill Burr. He said, I'll give you a week, and he won't call you back. So if Lenny lost the bet, he was gonna have to drink on air. He lost the bet, of course. He had his beer, and then when he went home, he had a message from Bill Burr. Literally that same day, he goes, it was so weird. I went home and I had Bill Burr had left a message on my voicemail. I go, sorry, but I don't do Bill Burr, but he's like, sorry, but I've been busy, whatever. So I just thought it was weird. If his sister didn't get tipped up by Cabana King, that is some weird
He sounded
shit.
happy and stuff too.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, just like those days when you wake up and you've got a lot of anxiety, when we don't know all the variables and we have a history of a lot of bad things happening, we assume the worst of unknown variables.
That's what it was, right?
Yep. Until you can prove what it is, why not just assume it's the good part that your sister does love you, wants to call you, and this is all just a big misunderstanding.
Or thank the power of MLC.
Adam t-shirt. Adam, that's a t-shirt.
That is
really cool.
Adam, tell Melton.
Yeah, he's a t-shirt guy.
Dave O'Flay, we're almost done.
Hey, Kev, I'll make your merch on my website, and I won't charge you a dime.
You don't charge me anything. He's doing fine. He's doing fine with my. I've never been happier with a merch
we're
guy.
bigger fans. Me and Stanson and I are bigger fans.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to meet you at Cracker Barrel to give you the designs.
You
or
meet me anywhere. I was offered to buy you dinner.
Okay, I don't need you to buy me dinner. Dave O'Flav, hey Doc, who's your favorite fictional psychiatrist in movies or TV?
I'm not sure. There are really not a lot of psychiatrists that
No, but they did a couple of movies that they had the De Niro movie with Billy Crystal. They did it at the same time. And then they had The Sopranos. They was mostly but kind of back to back. They did the mafia guy looking for help for a therapist, which was I thought the timing was weird.
Lee Scratch Perry called "I'm a Psychiatrist." Write that down, Doc. You'll like it.
Yeah, tell him what to do. The guy's basically
I didn't
trying
tell
to
him what
save
to do.
your
I
life.
just
He
told him
might
to
have
write it
saved your
down.
life. His power, his mental, whatever you call it, mental power. Communicated with your sister to give you a call, but you're telling him what to do. Furious, Doc, within your knowledge of psychology, can you break people with super chat? Can you send one to Chad? Oh, what a country. Anyway, good one. You can bully people. All right. The mayor here, KB, we'd be drunk too if our heads had right angles. Sister hated us. Mom was a lunatic. Dad married a bartender, and we were attracted to our brother. Yeah, you're right. I'd be probably drinking at 4 o'clock.
Me and Cabana look just alike.
Huh?
We look just alike.
The mayor here, back to back. Oh, and dumb enough to think PennDOT wouldn't fix I-95. Yeah, that was insane.
That was pretty impressive.
What, that they fixed it, or that Ski Mask thought they wouldn't fix it?
Well, that they figured out how to so quickly fix it. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when you got the best
of the Chinese dollars.
No, you got the best and the brightest, and the mayor's like, and everybody from like New Jersey needs it done, Pennsylvania needs it done. The whole I-95 corridor needs it done, and it's like someone's going to come up with it. And the solution was so simple. That's what made it hilarious. It's like, just like I said, just like a kid would do, like just put other blocks underneath it and support it that way. Rapey Ray, Ski losing the room quick. Tell the beach story. Yeah, that was oh god, this is so ridiculous. Thank you, Rapey Ray. You're right. He's losing the room. All right, I'll take a picture, then I'll read it. Robert Dunn, ski mask could be smashed into place with a baseball bat, and the therapist would make the assessment. You're
I'm not an angry guy.
certifiable, ski mask. You know that? You're certifiable. While Shuley gets his scuba, another Jaws thing, but I don't know what he's saying. What's he saying, Adam?
Maybe the therapist would be afraid of him, and then Shuley would want to get the cage and, like, I don't know, he would want to, like, trap him.
Like Richard Dreyfuss?
Like they did with the shark in Jaws.
Anything,
Maybe
doctor?
Charge admission to see him.
Am I the shark or is Ski Mask?
I think Ski Mask is a shark.
He's saying that I could be angry and you would still tell me I'm okay.
No, I don't think that's what he's saying.
Yes, it is. Look,
You're certifiable.
I could pull out a ball bat, start smashing everything.
But certifiable is like certifiably insane.
Yeah, that means you're crazy.
Oh, well, that's
not like you're certified.
Not the first time I've been told that.
Yeah, like I certified you as a person. He's saying
like
you're
certification.
You've been certified. You're healed. I give you your diploma. Fucking idiot. Jesus Christ. Jimmy, hi, Doc. I've been falling asleep listening to Ray DeVito's podcast. Am I doomed by bad subliminal thoughts entering my brain?
I'm not sure that sleep certainly sounds can wake you up, but I'm not sure how sleep subliminal messaging works.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Like if you fall asleep listening to something, that'll get into your subliminal.
I don't think it works that way. From everything I understand.
It's funny. I used to when Joe Matarese had a podcast, and it was so boring that when I would listen to it, it would make me sleepy. So sometimes I would just listen to it. And
that's why I'm on Chad's Patreon.
It would literally make me drowsy. So shout out to Joe Matarese. Ski and his sister sitting in a tray. KISSING. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes a weird baby in a baby carriage. Joe Burrow. Gregor McCoy, how much is good pay for some? That's true. How much is good pay?
I don't understand why that's so funny.
Because you said it's good pay, and he's saying Gregory McCoy's saying how much is good pay for someone in a ski mask.
Well, he's not going to work in the ski mask.
Yeah, he may be interviewed in the ski mask. I don't know. Either way, it's a funny joke. Yeah, what did you tell him your hobbies are? Don't you have to tell them what your hobbies are when you get a job interview?
Honestly,
we're almost done. Let's wrap it up so the doctor doesn't have to suffer another minute.
During the interview, he asked me about paint, and so I go, "Yeah, I used to paint. I still do, but I used to too."
Did he laugh?
I used to do drugs.
Yeah, of course he laughed. And then he asked for my phone number, and I wrote down. He goes, "Hey, can you start Monday?" I said, "Absolutely."
It's a paint. It's like a paint. You're working for a painter then?
No.
All right. Of course. Why would I think that? Because the guy asked you if you painted. The kid from The Sixth Sense really knows what he's talking about. Yeah, you do look a little bit like that guy, like that kid from The Sixth Sense.
Haley Joel Osment?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying.
That's kind of rough.
He might just be saying you have boyish good looks.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He's a handsome young boy. I'm no Matt Gates, but he was a.
He might want your pipe.
And we know young boys.
What? I don't even know.
Who's we, Adam?
Sorry, was my mic on?
We know young boys.
Name this episode. Sorry, was my mic on?
Yeah, no, call it. We know young boys. Yeah. Patreon's gonna listen to it. We call it that. Anyway, we're caught up. Ski mask. That. I don't know. I'm not gonna say it was terrible. It was.
Let him ask his final questions, and you do your final thoughts for once.
I'm great. No, you did it. I really appreciate you being so transparent. That was really amazing that your sister called. And I'll be honest, the reality is probably closer to a mix of sometimes good things happen, sometimes bad things happen, and the middle ground is usually where we have to be. I think this is really hard to do. I can't thank you enough for being so honest and willing to talk. And
thank you enough, man. I mean, you blew my mind at 90 minutes. I wrote it down.
And I can send Adam some stuff. He can send it over to you.
Yeah, things. Absolutely. He's got my contact stuff.
So are you think this is going to help you, Ski Mask? And are you going to even change 1%?
No, I like how he was. When I came into this, I was only going to tell the truth. What I like is he was able to understand me as a person, and he at the 90-minute mark, exactly what he said was on point.
You don't remember what it was, but you know it was at the 90-minute mark.
Exactly. I'll send it to you.
Well, it was when you were talking about sort of making impulsive decisions and how there's sort of a duality to.
I know what it was about. It's hard for me to repeat it. That's part of it.
And I'll type it out and I'll send it through Adam.
Thank you.
All right, Doctor. Great job. Amazing. Thanks for all the super chats. Thanks to Ski Mask, and thanks to his sister. I guess I'll have to pay her now too, since she was on the show. And Ski Mask, we wish you well. We'll probably see you soon. And good luck with your new job. And
you're so phony when you do these wrap ups.
No, first of all, I'm saying good luck with your new job because you just started another new job like last week, right? And you quit the next day, right?
I'm not a salesman. I'm not selling windows. Fuck that.
Okay, but then it was we're a little worried about your new job.
I'm not going to lie to a lady that already has good windows.
Okay, I know, but your last new job only lasted a day, so we're hoping your new job it lasts longer than a day.
The job I have now, I can show them the right product they need.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to go great.
Thanks. Fingers crossed. All right, everybody.
We never asked the doc. Doc, how big is it?
It's been great talking to you today. And Kev, thanks for having me back.
See what a hack you are, fucking Ski Man. It's like
I have to ask.
He's a doctor. He's helping the people on the show, and you asked the hackiest, dumbest thing, and you almost made him blush a little bit. Anyway, thank you, doctor.
HIPAA.
Huh?
That's against HIPAA. That's a HIPAA violation. You could lose his license.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh! If you told me the size.
Yeah, you can't do that. All right, thanks everybody. Thank you, doctor. And Ski Mask.
Oh, you mute you. You always mute yourself. Good night, everybody. Thanks, Doc.
Love you, Adam.
Thanks,
Doc. I wrote in my high school biography or whatever the fuck it was that I would die before I was 30, so I got a year and a half left.
Easy sees Uncle Charlie, little pooper guns got him, and I'm gonna miss everybody. I done rolled him blows, my cage looked at him while he lay. When playing with destiny, played too deep for me to say. The lazy came to me, told me if he should cease with them, please bury me by my grand. And when you can come follow me, working on a plan to heaven, follow the Lord out 24/7 days. God is who we praise, even though the devil's all up in my face, but he keep me safe in my place. Say grace to the case to race without a chance to face the judge, and I bet you my soul won't budge. Grudge because there's no mercy for thugs. Ooh, what can I do? It's all about a family and how we roll. Can I get a witness that it unfold? We living our lives to eternal our soul. And we pray and we pray and we pray and we pray every day, every day, every day, every day. And we pray and we pray and we pray and we pray. Still we lace, now follow me, roll, stroll. Whether it's hell or it's heaven, come let's go take a visit to the people that's long gone. There is really easy, terrible. It's steadily coming up in the family. Exactly how many days we got lasting? While you laughing, we passing away. Rest y'all souls, cause you know I'ma meet you up at the crossroads. Y'all know, y'all forever got love from the Bone Thugs. Little Easy's long gone, really wish you would come home. But when it's time to die, gotta go bye-bye. All Luther could do was cry. While they killed my dog, and man, I miss my Uncle Charles, yeah. And he shouldn't be gone in front of his home. What they did to Boo is wrong. Ooh, so wrong. Gotta hold on, gotta stay strong. When the day comes, better believe on. Gotta show that you can lean on. And we pray and we pray and we pray and we pray every day, every day, every day, every day. And we pray and we pray and we pray and we pray. See you at the crossroads, you won't be lonely. You won't be lonely at the crossroads. You won't be lonely. You won't be lonely. And I'm gonna miss everybody. And I'm gonna miss everybody when I'm gone. dust and the gold load by your side. He told me we live to die. See, my little cousin was hurt somebody really wrong. Anybody wanna test us out? Them Miss Lazy said I base it I fall. No, I be sinning and crazy and turning on it, and then when it ends, wanna come again.